Tesla has just come out with this brand new vehicle. It's called the Cybertruck. Cyber,
I I think that's right.
Cybertruck, yeah, it's brand new.
Brand new.
Motor Trend took, well, let's see, it was November last year that it came out.
December, yes.
December, yeah, December, and Motor Trend took until now.
Well, the article that we're looking at is actually, I'm seeing from March 19th. So we're farther behind than they are.
Oh, did I miss it?
You
Is that
did,
the
but the
problem?
information is still valuable. There's only
Oh,
one thing that's changed in there,
oh.
and we will address it.
Well, so that was a March 19th article. So it showed up in my new stuff today, and I didn't pay any attention to the date. Oh my,
That's all right.
oh my goodness. But it's all good, huh?
Well, if unless we're looking at two different ones, unless they made another one.
Oh
Uh,
boy. Yeah, that's confusing.
but
Were they comparing the F-150 and the Cybertruck and the
Rivian
the Lightning
R1T.
and the Rivian? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's talk about it because I thought it was good stuff, and as you're saying, it's still current. So okay, good.
The Rivian hasn't much changed, and
Okay.
the Lightning hasn't. I mean, there's still valid comparisons.
Uh-huh.
The new R1T isn't, I don't think, um, if it's available, it's not common yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing they did was try, for the benefit of the Cybertruck, which is available at either 100,000 or 120. They said, let's just shoot for 100,000 on all three trucks. So they up optioned the Ford and the Rivian to get them to about 100. The Rivian came in a bit lower, but they were all within 8-9% of each other, which I think is going to give you a fair comparison.
Okay.
Now, if you've looked at this article, which I assume some people have, probably not everyone.
Right.
The problem with this article is it's fair.
Oh no, not that.
Not that. That's the kiss of death. I want to see smashed in the headline. I need destroyed. I don't know. But this was pretty fair. And
Yeah.
what they're looking at is um, three trucks that all have really good performance.
All electric.
Hmm.
That comparison was fair,
Hmm.
and I thought it turned out they were maybe closer in spec. Some winning some things and some winning others. The specs were kind of here, there, and everywhere.
I was also a bit surprised. The Cybertruck, being a dual motor, is a bit slower than the Rivian, but not slower than the Ford. So it was the middle of the pack.
Right.
The range, the Ford and the Cybertruck came out about the same. The Rivian had longer range because they had up optioned it to a better battery. Um, yeah, so the braking was a little funnier. They said the Ford and Rivian had 123-foot stops, where the Cybertruck was consistently at 126, just
Right.
three extra feet,
Right.
except that the Ford uh, on the first hard stop, the brakes smoked and it added 6 to 7 feet to every subsequent braking. Whoa, guys, that's not ideal. Should probably work on that. Yeah, for
They
the
also thought, didn't they say that the Tesla braking was a little more I don't know, what did they call it exactly? Comfortable or
yeah,
felt
bo
better?
body control was excellent.
That was it. Body
Yeah.
control. Yes, I always like to have body control if I can, if at all possible.
Well, you don't get out to events the way I do. Have
Yeah.
you had a chance to ride in the Cybertruck yet?
I have not had a chance to see a
Oh,
Cybertruck.
wow. Well, once they get that ankle monitor off of you, you should go out and check out a Cybertruck because the ride is incredibly refined. It feels like a car. Now, I've also spent some time driving and riding in the F-150 Lightning. It also feels very refined. It feels less like a truck and more like either a very premium truck. Really, it felt to me like an Escalade.
No.
You can feel that there's weight there, but there's power behind it. And it's got good suspension, so it's not boaty or bouncy like older pickup trucks. Um, but the Cybertruck feels very refined. It feels like you're in an SUV.
Right, right. Or some people have compared it to Rolls Royces. I mean, just completely quiet and luxury. I think one of the YouTubers compared it to a Rolls Royce in terms of the interior comfort.
Well, some YouTubers can afford to drive Rolls Royces, so I can tell you it's way nicer than a '88 Yugo.
Okay, there you go. That's what you can do.
Gotta stay in our lanes, Randy.
That's it. That's it. And then
Know our place.
then the Tesla was the Cybertruck was faster overall, would go 108 or something because we often need to, versus the others, which were 105 or 103 or some such. I don't remember the exact numbers, but
Yeah, the Rivian does 110, right? No, Cybertruck 110,
okay.
Rivian 109, Ford 106. But all of those are artificially limited because they're assuming what kind of tires you're using.
Oh,
and
yes.
there are no speed rated all-terrain, off-road tires.
Right.
We know the Cybertruck can go more than 110 because in one of the, I think it was the 𝐂𝐲𝐻𝐚 review, or maybe I don't remember. It was one of the reviews we saw. They were doing a drag race next to some up-spec'd pickup, and they said, "Hey, I hit 110 and it stops accelerating." And the guy goes, pulls out his iPad. Okay, now try it.
Not
Like,
right.
whoa, that's cool, man. But for safety reasons, I think all of those speed limits are perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
I would not like you to go faster than that unless you're on a track.
So they did give some cred to Tesla for all the tech, the steer-by-wire and the 48-volt and those kinds of things. They did say all those things were very, very nice and made an impression in terms of the overall quality, or what would you call it? The overall, if you're going to make a choice between them, those would be points in their favor.
Mhm.
But they ended up at the end of the day, they picked Rivian.
They did. Well, so I'm not upset by that. Let's start third place with the Lightning. Pros: comfortable, familiar, luxurious. Yeah. Big bed and frunk, works and works on Tesla's charging network. Does it? It works on some of Tesla's charging network.
Right.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I'd call that a half point.
Okay.
Cons: lower tech, steel suspension limitations, and fewer amusements when parked. I don't know if I'd even call that a minus, except that with a battery that big, and if you're not using the supercharger network, you're gonna be there a while. So maybe, but once you take that part of the equation out, you don't need quite so much time. So fine, easy. Second place, it gave the Cybertruck. Technological tour de force, I agree. Rear steering, of course. Effortless connectivity and charging. Biggest pro has got to be for anyone who gets out and about is the charging network. It is something I never think about.
Right.
Cons: borderline dangerous secondary controls. I don't know what you're talking about. Bunker visibility. Now, I didn't find the visibility to be problematic when I drove the Cyber Beast a month ago. And cosplay off-road tires, meaning it's like a costume. Okay, I guess. Hey, if those are the cons, great. Then you get to the Rivian. And as I've said many times, it is the best $130,000 car you can get for $80,000.
I see. Okay.
Right there, you're gonna, if Tesla was losing as much money per unit as Rivian, there would be no competition. But Tesla doesn't have the luxury of being able to lose money.
Right.
It looks like Tesla may be profitable on the Cybertruck this year, and that doesn't mean on a per unit basis. That means including period, including the everything. Now it is amortized, so of course all that equipment is paid for over time, but to get to net positive on a new product within a year is very good.
Right.
First place, Rivian. Impressive performance and range. agreed. Deft off-road chops, agreed. Rock steady towing rig, fine. Cons, dumb cruise control. It doesn't have lane centering unless you are on a specific set of highways. Ford's Blue Cruise will work anywhere. Maybe not well.
No.
Maybe not well, but it'll try. Tiny, tiny truck bed, and the options add up quickly in terms of pricing. So Rivian is, I think this is reasonable. Now, when they did the off-road tests on this, differential lock was not yet available.
Yeah.
It has since become available. You can't fault them for not being time travelers. I get a lot of criticism in my videos where I recently did a video discussing the math behind the robotaxi, behind putting your vehicle on a robotaxi network.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people criticize me for not counting the $25,000 car that doesn't exist and
Yeah.
you don't own.
Yeah.
So that I can make another video including that one. I'd be happy to, but barring time travel, I can't.
Right.
And until things actually come out, we don't actually know what the price is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that Tesla tends to be a little optimistic with their unveil pricing. So yeah, I would say all of these are reasonable. I would love to see this review done every 6 months.
Yeah.
I'd love to see this again when Tesla's price drops and they have to use much lower spec competitors to match it. I'd like to see it again with the Silverado in the mix because its range apparently will put all three of these to shame. And the Rivian, which does get significantly more range, has more than 20 kilowatt hours additional battery. I think
Which
20,
now you can add, of course, the additional power to the Tesla as well.
You can't add it yet.
I thought they said it was now available.
Well, have you seen it?
I just heard the other day. I thought I saw something even, like Sawyer Merritt or somebody saying that it was now happening. I forget. We'll have to double check on that one.
We'll have to check.
But the analysis that you just read, the things that were the negatives on Rivian seemed important negatives. And they didn't mention the charging network at all in the Rivian spec or the Rivian negatives, which it would seem to me that would be another pretty significant negative. And then how is it that none of these ever talk about, he mentioned in jest, sort of, the entertainment that's available when you're parked. But the truth is that the entertainment center, the overall computer that you have on that car is entertaining. It creates all kinds of opportunities that are not on these other vehicles. It may not be worth, it may not be the deciding factor if you had two that you were trying to decide between, but it's certainly a significant piece of what people enjoy in a Tesla.
It's what is your use case? What will you use this for? If all you're doing is hauling lumber, none of that matters.
Right.
But the reasons, even if I had just read these reviews, the reason I would still go with the Cybertruck is because the charging network just plain works. And even though it's not available as of recording, the autonomous features on the Cybertruck are miles and miles ahead of anything the other two will have. Well, we can over the air up. Great. Again, I don't like to try and guess what the future will be. Again, referring back to that robotaxi video, I had people saying, you don't get it, man. This is going to be done in 6 months. And then all of this does. And I go, you sound like me 3 years ago. So this ain't my first rodeo. And I would like to point out that 2 seems like a very low number of rodeos to be expected to know everything. I think that more than that would be ideal.
So the thing that I thought about when I was all done with this article was, okay, then, close battle. Tesla gets the win. I mean, Tesla gets second, but not by much. And you could argue, why then are there 2+ we think million reservations for Cybertruck, and Rivian struggles to sell, a fraction of that number? Is it Elon? Is it because Elon's politics are getting conservatives to buy them? I mean, seriously.
Well, I mean, to give a serious answer to your question that wasn't terribly serious, is that wasn't the case when most of the reservations took place.
I know.
So I know, but I'm giving an answer to people who are just
Yes.
tuning in for the first time and may not know uh, when those reservations appeared. But the reservation list appears to be still growing.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe not growing in total, but there are still new reservations coming in, certainly.
Well, they took the list, they took the bottom price point off the website.
Yeah.
That tells me they don't need to get more of those bottom numbers up, and they're just going to be Elon has said in the past he doesn't want to disappoint people. So my guess is that they're still looking at a couple million reservations. And
So,
so
but to answer your question, I think I know of people who reserved dozens because they believed that they would already be robo taxis by the time it was released a year or two ago.
right.
Um, and it's not. They have not necessarily canceled those reservations. I saw someone who I won't name who said, "I've had it. I canceled my Cybertruck reservation. Here's the receipt showing my $100 came back." And someone called him out and said, "Don't you have like 4 reservations?" And he's like, "Well, no, I had 3 and now I have 2." Okay. So, uh, okay, great. A lot of people reserved because it was going to be 39.9.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think those people can handle the Tesla stretch. Going to 40, maybe even 50, not necessarily a deal breaker. Going all the way to 60, 80, 100, 120, deal breaker. They're going to keep their place in line because just like all things Tesla, the price will come down. And a lot of people are thinking, well, I'm going to hold off. I got an invitation to configure, but I'm going to hold off because I know it's going down in price to 80 to 80 to
Right.
80,000 is my absolute confidence within a couple months. And then I'll get it. No, you won't. Because when it drops to 80, they're going to go back to the top of the line and start plowing through it afresh.
Yes.
So then we get to see how long the line is at 80. And if
Yes.
it is 80 and does qualify for the federal incentive, that line may be quite long.
Could
A year
be.
or two would be, I would be shocked to see it get through it in a year or two.
Okay, so there we have the Rivian versus the F-150 Lightning versus the Tesla Cybertruck, and where it matters, Tesla wins by a mile, and that's in the order book.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
If you're an investor, Randy, that is where it absolutely matters because not only do they have a backlog of orders that stretches beyond the horizon, but they're selling these at a profit.
Yes.
Rivian is not selling at a profit. Ford is probably not selling at a profit. The 100,000 one, I believe they are. I asked Sandy Monroe directly, do you think Ford is profitable on a per unit basis? And this was a year or two ago. And he said, or I guess about a year and a half ago. And he said, it's very close on the, but definitely so on the higher end ones. So it could be, but they're not making enough profit to actually make people buy them at the price that
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
willing to buy them at.
Yeah,
So
no,
as an investor, the Cybertruck is the clear winner. As an owner, I'd still say the Cybertruck is the clear winner because despite being an armored vehicle, it weighs the least of the 3.
and has a charging network and a wonderful entertainment system, and we'll have FSD someday in about 2 weeks.
Yes.
All right, Brian, thank you for going through that with me, even if it maybe turned out that it was an old article. But then, I'm an old guy, so it probably all works out in the end.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll, to all of you out there, thanks for listening, and it's been great talking to you.